Greetings, YouTube. I'm going to review a movie today. This movie. Now, everything you've heard about this film is probably true. It really is phenomenally bad. Painfully bad. Not even laugh at it MST3K bad. Just dull bad. I'm not really sure when Frank Miller began to buy his own hype, but he has. I used to love Frank Miller. Truly love him. I loved Dark Knight, Ronin, even Dark Knight 2, the Daredevil work, everything. It was beautiful. It conveyed stories to me that no one else ever had, and I loved it. I loved Sin City, and I thought that the film Sin City was the absolute most perfect translation of a comic book to the screen. It's flawless. It is the comic book on the screen. I actually don't own a copy of that DVD, and I really need to do that. But I picked this one up relatively cheap, and I got it specifically because I hadn't seen it. And there is actually a commentary track on here by Mr. Miller himself, which means I'm going to actually have to watch this thing twice, because I actually want to hear what he says, because he's got to he must be off his medication to think that this film is good, or to think that it's worth a comment of any kind, let alone an entire commentary track. So, it's not good. The writing is horrible. The acting is stilted and dull. Scarlett Johansson sounded like she was reading her lines from a phone booth. There was no connection whatsoever to the character she was playing on the screen. The scenes were just disjointed, unfunny, unentertaining. They weren't exciting. They didn't drive the plot. It was just bad. Not to mention Samuel S. Jackson in a Nazi uniform. It just was horrible. Now, when you have a comic, you've got that little frame right there. And you can have a quanta of absurdity in that frame. And the next frame, you have no absurdity. And you bridge the gap between those two frames in your head. You understand that a shift has taken place, just as when you make a cut in a film, you understand that one scene is ended and the next scene begins. But when you have that frame expanded on film, and now you've got that continuity going there of live action, sometimes things don't translate well. This would be one of them. Now, there were things about it I enjoyed. It was beautifully looking, absolutely lovely. The scenes were nice. A lot of the visuals were just evocative of Eisner's work. I like what Miller does with this kind of style of filmmaking. I find it interesting. And of course, Miller loves women, and it is shown in every single scene that there's a woman on the screen. He loves women a lot. I would go so far as to say he's probably obsessed on some level, probably an unhealthy level. But the women he picked look good up there, and they're always going to look good up there. And for that, I guess I should thank him. But for the rest of the film, I can't. This is a bad movie. Don't watch it. Believe the hype you hear about how bad it is. It really is that bad. Do yourself a favor. Move on. Go watch Sin City again. You get the same kind of visuals, and frankly, it's a good film.